Good day. Welcome to this meditation experience. Delighted you can join. And in this session, we're going to explore this idea of empty mind or full mind. And it's actually a little confusing out there in the whole mind realm because we have the term mindfulness, which suggests a full mind. But we also have still these ideas that meditation or reflection is about emptying the mind. So what to do? What am I supposed to do? Is it full mind, empty mind, both? Is it a riddle? What's going on? And in some ways, yes, it is both, but we need to complete the sentences. Empty the mind of what? And fill the mind of what? We need to just kind of elaborate a little so we know exactly what's going on. And you can see, where am I? And do I still think that it's about emptying the mind? It is, but what do I want to empty the mind of? And I think most of us know the answer to that. I mean, how many times have you found yourself grappling with something from the past and people come along thinking they're being helpful and brilliant and say, you just need to let go. And of course, you know you need to let go, but how? How am I going to let go? So it means I need to fill the mind with something else. I need a replacement, alternative, another option. I know that when it was decided I would have a switch in diet, I was like, oh, but how will I have this anymore? My favorites. And so I was very motivated not to just stop them empty, but to replace, to figure out how could I replace them. So this idea of empty mind and full mind or replacement. And the most beautiful state of the mind is when it's completely full of something called bliss. And so that will introduce another element into our reflection, which is silence. Again, is silence empty or is it full? So looking at these concepts as we go into reflection. So once again, we invite you to be seated comfortably. Always the invitation to experiment with eyes open in a natural way. And first beginning in a very simple way, observing the breath of the body, the wisdom in the breath of the body. As if from a distance, I watch the lungs of the body work and I learn. The lungs fill up with that rich oxygenated air. And then the lungs empty that which it no longer needs. It's actually toxin for the body. Letting it go. This rhythm of the lungs, so much wisdom, filling up and emptying. What is needed and what is not needed. I observe the rhythm of the breath and all its wisdom. The waves of the breath. In and out. And the feeling that those waves are beginning to carry my mind. Like my mind is a boat. on the waves of the breath, and I, the thinker, the observer, the self, I am seated in the boat of my mind, gently carried by the waves of the breath, far from the familiar shore of day-to-day thought, day-to-day life, day-to-day tasks, far from that familiar shore. The waves of the breath carrying me in the boat of my mind to a different place, out into the ocean, to a different land, a different quality of thought. Gently carried by those waves, the mind feeling very peaceful, very calm. The rocking of those waves, comforting the mind. And this different land, this different place or state, these waves are carrying me to. It's becoming more and more quiet. The mind actually slowing down, calming down, feeling more and more peaceful, carrying me to a state, a place of sweet silence. It's not an empty place. In fact, what I'm feeling, those waves that originally were carrying the mind, it feels now in this place of silence that those waves are washing through the mind. Those waves of silence, sacred, sweet silence, washing through the vessel of my mind, both emptying and filling my mind. As the waves wash through, they smooth out any rough edges, sharp or brittle edges of my mind. Any irritations, impatience, even a little confusion or anxiety seems to be smoothing out, calming down, softening, even melting away with those waves of silence. And as they wash through, emptying the mind of any heaviness, complication or clutter, expansion, unnecessary. All those thoughts washed away with the waves of silence. But the mind does not become empty. Even though it is emptying, it does not become empty, because those waves are rich, charged, saturated with everything my mind, myself, has been seeking. With every wave, it carries a vibration of peace, passion, soft power, healing power. Every wave nourishing the mind, filling the mind with all that feeds the mind. Whatever I've been seeking through the activity of the mind, I receive in that silence. Those eternal longings of the soul. That deep, deep, cool, delicious peace. Filling up the vast expanse of my mind. In fact, filling up my entire being. Completely intent. Not a single desire in the mind. Just the fullness of well-being. Deep, deep contentment. And every wave of that deep contentment inspires my mind to let go even more of whatever might block that contentment, any clinging or gripping of the mind. Release, creating more and more space to receive more and more deep peace, until the mind is overflowing with that feeling of well-being, a state of bliss, deeply content, so full. The perfect balance of an empty mind and a full mind. Om Shanti.